Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube video. In this video I am going to show you some of the basic stuff on the default map on in OMSI 2. So let's go into its Berlin-Spandau, and the other default map is Grundorf. Well, but Grundorf is basically a very simple one. There's not much happening there. So let's dive into Berlin-Spandau and click start. Now, one of the things that's useful is manual, because you need manual to operate a ticket machine. So in order to get your manual, you can go to, well, normally if you have add-on, well, go to your OMSI 2 folder. It's usually in the in your local disk C, but I'm running out of space in there, so I put it on another SSD. Now I do recommend you to put it on an SSD, because if you put it on a hard drive, it may take a lot. It may take longer to load. So that's where I buried my OMSI 2. I don't know if there's a menu here, but normally if you've got manual, it's usually in add-on folder. These are the manual. Nope. Yeah, I think these are my manual. OMSI 2 docs. Are they? Yeah, probably. So yeah, that's the manual that's in German. I guess that's in English. Another way you can do it is to go to Steam, steampower.com, sorry, my nose is a bit congested, and you go to the OMSI 2 page. Spelled it wrong. You go to the OMSI 2 page, and there is yeah, this button, view the manual. You can also get the manual from this place. So anyway, well, there's loads of stuff happening here, but what we want is the route information. Where is it? Here. Yeah, so these would be the number you put in for various different stuff. It's a bit tricky to read. I mean, you see here, in my last video I showed you some basic stuff, so I won't show you the same stuff again. But I mentioned that route 5 becomes route 130, and route 5N becomes that. And there is also some route changes, or name changes, I guess, happening here. Now that's the notation in German. They put a dot there. Anyway, let's go back here. That's the bus I drove last time. It's still there. So well, let's just stick with this bus for now. So well, you learned how to do this if you watched that video properly. Let me turn my brightness up. Now, disclaimer, I didn't prepare for this video, so if anything goes cringy, you are allowed to moan in the comment section below, but just make sure that you don't throw knives at me, because knives will not only stop the cringe, but will stop me completely. So, let's start the bus. And I showed you what the first row does before. I didn't show you the second row. Well, the third row I think I did show you. But basically, the second row is that puts yourself into a timetable. That sets your destination, the lines up there. but I usually use the onboard system. I don't use that one, but if something fail or you're too rubbish to set the destination, you can use this one. Am I blocking you, mate? Anyway, so that's the ticket machine. That's the destination machine and announcement. It hasn't got automatic announcement on this particular model. So that fixes your bus. You just press that button and it fixes everything that goes wrong. Now that one, if you have collision turned on and you hit some AI vehicles, you need to put on the warning indicators, so the four-way one. By pressing the button or the button B on your keyboard, and you must have that on and call the police. Now that will ungrate itself when you hit something, but if you have collision turned off, it won't do anything. And if you have collision turned on, you hit something, but you don't call the police, it goes onto your file. Some sort of criminal record, I don't know. But that file basically does nothing to your, from what I learned. And that is to wash or fuel your bus. So in order to wash or fuel your bus, you need to drive in a particular place, like a fueling station or the depot, depending on the map. So basically on the map there are some particular places, and your bus must be physically there in order for that button to undergrade so you can fuel and wash your bus. Now, so let's start the engine and put yourself onto the route. Now if you watch the beginning video, you should know how to spawn the bus. That's quite important. Now when you spawn the bus and you press this button here, this pops up, and that's your route, what they call line, and that's your run, and that basically adjusts the timeline in each particular run. So we are going to do line 130 or route 130, and you can browse through these. So basically when you select a run, that shows you what route number you should put on your destination board. Terminus is what destination you should put on your destination board. So those two are the things to put on your destination board. And you start there and you terminate there. Now, on this particular route, this terminus is the same as this terminus. On some routes, on some maps, I'm not quite sure about this map, but there are some routes in OMSI too, that this terminus, the thing you put on destination board, and where you actually terminate are different on some routes. So basically what happens, that's passenger information, that's what you do. Because sometimes when you drop off passengers, you drive to another place to stop. Sorry, I hit my stuff. If you click that, you drive as an additional bus, which means you won't replace the original run if it's occupied by an AI. So you should also match the time. So we are currently at U-Bahnhof Ruhleben. I don't know, don't speak German. And you might notice some of these. This says Betriebefahrt, that means business trip, or basically not in service. And in that case you drive from the depot to this place, which is where we are now. So let's select a route. Now you can also check the time compared to that departure time. Now here you can run a route from the middle of the route. You don't have to start from the beginning, but I usually start from the beginning. So let me click OK. That will be withdrawn. When you click OK, that shows you your delay. So if it's a negative number, that means you are. If it's a negative number, that means you're early. and that's your next stop, or this stop, and that's your departure time. Now, be careful. You must not depart early. Because if you do, you're not a good driver. Now it's night time now, so I will turn on the. So I use full lamps or parking lamps, probably parking lamps, marker lamps, whatever you like to call it. And turn on passenger light. Now I don't think I told you anything about internal lighting in the beginning video. That's probably primarily because it's different on different buses. So on this one, that's the 9 button, not quite sure what it does, and 8 does nothing, 7 does that thing. Oh, so basically 9 are these two, and 7 is the front one, and then 6 is the driver one. That one will turn on automatically when you, on most of the buses, when you open the front door. When you open the front door with the headlamps or parking lamps on, but you can you can turn the lamp light on off manually. But when you open the door, front door, it will turn on when the headlamps or marker lamps are on. So now in Berlin, this machine is a bit confusing. So that includes this Berlin-Spandau and Berlin X10, and possibly some Berlin-based buses that you drive on other cities. Now the machine has a different operation on different buses. This one is the Berlin version, I guess, the old Berlin version. You refer to the manual. Or on some other maps, there are some reference on the bus that's stuck somewhere. Oh, by the way, that's your run information. That only shows up when you assign yourself to some sort of route in the game. So if you cancel it, if you press again to cancel it, if you cancel it, that will go away. And for the purpose of video, I will turn off ticket selling. I'm not going to sell a ticket, okay? We'll do that on a separate video. Actually, I'll have it on just to show you. Oh, stupid game! Just to show you how I do it. But I won't talk into detail on how to sell tickets. So now we don't need to worry about that yet. Check your start and end. Now that depart is the departure time for the next run, so that the line above depart is your end on this run. You start here. So route 130, that's your it needs to display this on the destination board. So 130, this place to Nerven Clinic. Refer to manual, this place. Yeah, so it basically switches automatically. So when you're at your last stop and you press to announce the next stop, it will switch the direction. So in this case, if you put in 01 in the route, it's from this place to this place. If you put 02, it's from this place to this place. Now line or course. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Course. So you don't put in that one, but put in that one. For older time, when it's route 5, you put in that one. What's SE? I don't know. So 130.00 is the thing you put in line. 130, that's the route. You must put in 00 because it reads the first 3 number as the thing, and the last 2 digits are special characters. So if you haven't got any special characters, you put in 0. that's your route. Now when I say route, it's the course, or no, it's the run number. I don't know, because it's German. So basically it's on route 130 now. And you put in 01 in this after you put in linear or linear quartz 01. So now it won't announce automatically on this model, so you have to press Q or tab. I prefer pressing Q to announce it manually. Has it got automatic announcement? No, probably not. And now I think that syncs with that to sell the tickets. I'm not quite sure. That's all. Now let's drive. I should probably turn my headlamps on. I think I just announced next stop too early, because I thought this is another stop from. How do I go back? No, that's the.
Polizeidirektion 2.
No, that's rewind. That's the next stop with announcement. That's the next stop without announcement. I think it also displays up there, up here. Yeah, it does. And let me turn my engine off and wait here, and let passengers on board. But will I be able to fit all these people? I think my bus is a bit too small. And have I gone on the curb? Probably. Oops. Oh, by the way, I didn't check the thing. It's a bit. I thought that was 1 and that was 50 something, 50 cents. I don't know, but you should. Oh, stop complaining. That's €5, €2, €1. Did I forget to put plural? So that's €5, €2, €1, 50 cents, 10 cents, and 5 cents. Wait, that's the wrong ticket. Kinderfahrschein. This one. No! That's, yeah, that one.
Entschuldigen Sie.
3, 5, 10. Well, I do recommend you to let passenger on board before your departure, because you know the ticket selling thing.
Danke.
I mean, even if you aren't selling ticket, there may be a lot of passengers that want to get on board. But it's good to have it's good to let passengers on board before your departure, not at your departure. But be careful that you don't want to block up the traffic, because in some map, if you stop here, because I'm stopping at a terminus, and it doesn't really matter, but on some route, the first stop is on the street, in which case if you stop there you will block up the traffic. But you're gonna skip time. But allow yourself a bit of time when you skip time, because there might be new passengers coming as time goes. Tea is amazing as well. So I'm about to leave. Now, you can, if your pressure is high enough, as soon as you start the engine you can go. But if you're running low on pressure, you just start the engine beforehand to avoid any waiting after you start the engine. Now on this particular map, the the orange things show you the way only when you assign yourself onto did I forget to turn on headlamps? That orange things only pop up when you assign yourself to a route on this menu. But on most of the maps, they aren't really interfered by. Well, they aren't necessarily orange, but on most of the maps, these aren't interfered by this button, this menu, or whatever. So that triggers that one I told you in my last Len Diesel Plus video. Yeah. The only maps I know that the signs are interfered by or affected by your route that you assign. The only maps that do that I know are Berlin-Spandau, the Grundorf, so basically the default two maps, and the Bremen one. Bremen. How do you say it in German? I don't know. I don't speak German. Well, I tried to learn some. And most of them are bus terms. And a bit music lyrics. I don't know if my bus will be stuffed.
Krematorium
So basically you just follow the signs. Sometimes the signs are a bit dodgy, that you need to be careful.
Hallo.
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 I was about to say something, but I forgot. Oh, anyway, I will fast forward from now on until the end of the route, so I won't take up too much video length to talk about useless stuff, because that's not the purpose of this playlist. Oh, by the way, those passengers won't get on because my bus is full. So you need to be careful choosing what bus to run on the route. You don't want a bus that's too empty, nor do you want a bus that's too full. Now, at this particular bit of the map, there is a bus signal here that's unique to German buses. I think some other continental European buses as well. And that's the same as tram. That means I can go. Proceed to the left. It's got a bit of bus priority at this bit of the map. A ghost van. I'm not going to dive into bus signals in this video because it's not common in this map. By the way, if you wonder what I'm eating Haribo. Haribo Star Mix.
U-Bahnhof Rathaus Spandau.
Now the next stop is U-Bahnhof Rathaus Spandau. So that's the U-Bahn. The U thing stands for U-Bahn. U-Bahnhof is underground railway station. And Rathaus is town hall, Spandau is this district, region, place. And this stop on this route is a relatively high frequency stop. And in this place I don't think there are any navigation. But I know this route somehow well, so I know I'll go straight here. Now, I'm too used to automatic announcements, so I quite often forget to announce the next stop. And at this point, be careful. Right after Berlin-Spandau towards Nerven Clinic, sometimes the developer do something wrong. That does not tell you to turn left, it just tells you to change lane. But you go straight. I know it's confusing. It happens on this particular route at this particular part. Actually, there are quite some navigation error in. Excuse me. There are quite some navigation error in this map. Doesn't happen a lot on other maps, but that's just a map developer thing. Error. And be careful. Some stop signs may be hidden behind the tree. So, yeah. So, welcome back, viewers. I am close to my terminus, so it's after this turn. I've got 2 stops left. And as you can see, I'm very late. Don't know why. So that light just popped up. I have no idea what that is. I think it's lacking some oil, maybe. Nearly nice, well parked. I mean, nearly nicely parked. Not quite yet. Stopped a bit early. Anyway.
Ja. Endhaltestelle. Bitte aussteigen.
Yeah, you can probably hear that. Endhaltestelle, bitte aussteigen. So that basically means the last stop. Please get off. I think. Oh, I haven't got much time until my last departure. I mean, the next departure. So that's a problem with delay. So now let's, if I want to cancel it, I can press that button again and click yes to cancel it. It won't really reset my destination board because that's this machine thing. But it was a lovely journey. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Now let me show you some other buses that come with this map. I'll show you briefly in this video. I'm not gonna go into detail, okay? Now also in the default map we've got the MAN something. This one. That's a bendy version of the one I just drove. Let's go back to this place. So now this is the bendy version of that. All this sort of stuff are the same, including the door control, because that one is also automatic, controlled by passenger. Let me change the time to daylight so you can see better. So that button controls both the mid door and the rear door. So it's basically the same as that one. Now I just realised that the rear bendy section is a step entrance one, but the front bit is low floor. Let me just drive around to show you briefly how this bus is. These instruments are the same. Hello. Let me raise my pressure. So basically this is just a bendy version, nothing special. It's a bit like this in a lot of German buses in this game. You basically get a rigid version of it and then you get a bendy version of it. On most of the buses in German buses in OMSI too. And then yeah, on most of German buses in OMSI too, you get a rigid version and a bendy version. And the instruments are basically the same. Unless when you get a Mercedes-Benz 0305, that one, the bendy version and the rigid version are separate add-ons. So but the instruments are basically the same. And also, the rigid version has an option of a manual gearbox, not the bendy version. Let me just see how well I parked. That was okay. Rubbing the curb a bit, but now you may notice that this bus is a bit quieter than the rigid one. That's because the engine is further away from the driver than the rigid one. That's one of the good things about driving bendy buses. It's not as loud. Unless if you're driving a Vanhoe AGG 300. If you know me well, I really love that one. The only problem is that one is mid-engine. It's not even rear engine, it's a puller, but the engine is mid-engine, it's not even... So that one will be louder than driving a rigid version of that, because the rigid version is rear-engined, but the AGG 300 is mid-engined. So now let me just spawn a double-decker version of this one, wrong button. Now be careful, if you spawn too many buses, your game may crash. So we picked I guess this one is the newest. And put on that livery. So as you may see, this one is also... Oh, by the way, there's something different. The heater control is over here instead of on the roof, which is the case on the bendy and the rigid single decker. What's up here then? Now of course you aren't allowed to smoke. That one says... I don't know. Oh, it's telling you not to talk to the driver when the vehicle's moving, I guess. This one is a bit funny, it's got 2 staircases. But it doubles the capacity. I think this one holds more people than the bendy one, I'm not quite sure. It looks like it does. Have I got enough pressure? Probably. Anyway, let's drive around. Oh, I forgot to tell you that this is the newest version of this model, I guess. Let me spawn an older one to see any difference, and then we will spawn the previous generation of this model, and then we'll end the game, the video. So that's SD202, the one I'm driving right now. So that's an older version of SD202, I guess. Here. You maybe. Oh, that's not the ticket machine. That's these printed ticket, something like that. Now, if you compare, this is a bit simpler, and also you have the ability to lock gear. What's this? I don't know. And that's an older version. So they are pretty roughly the same. The engine sounds a bit different. And they've got pneumatic doors instead of electric. I'll put these side by side to see from the outside what the difference really is. They are quite similar from the outside, to be honest. Oh, that one is accessible. Is this one accessible? I don't know. But it hasn't got the that friendly sign over there. That one has as well. So not quite sure if the older version is accessible. But from the inside, that one has got newer dashboard and stuff. Actually, I'm going to show you this older version first. Just drive around. Wrong button. Wait, hang on, it hasn't got a stop brake. That is a bit strange. It doesn't have a stop brake. And I noticed that the offside mirror is a bit higher. Now all the default buses are automatic gearboxed, because at that time manual gearboxes have already ceased to exist. Well, probably some in the museum. But the first ever manual adult officially from Aerosoft is the Mercedes-Benz 0305, followed by the Icarus something. That's a bendy bus. Or it's more like bendy coach. And the gear selector is a bit weird. And those are pullers, not pushers. Because I don't think if you can have a manual gearbox pusher. But then there are some unofficial one, like the American Lions coach and the Daimler Fleet Line, no, Leyland Fleet Line. That one from Farthington Demo. That's the ex-China motor bus one, though that's not the one I spawned. That one is. just show you briefly. Oh, it's the same engine sound as that one. But this one has got a stop brake, which is good. Anyway, the last bus I'm going to show you is rather different. SD200-SD77. That looks old enough. Basically, the shell is different. MAN busing. Whatever. At first glance, you can probably tell that it's got different. That's the roll sign. So you basically have to. Well, that's very different. I think that thing operates it. I need to power this on first. Oh, that's the stop number. So you basically have to scroll through all the 999. And what's that for then? Wait, I am confusion. What's that then? I don't know, but all the German buses, actually on all the any buses, you get the weird thing going on. That's the thermometer. I think that's the announcement, which does not synchronize to the destination board. I've pressed the wrong button. So now we're back. So don't press F10 or F11. I think that resets your traffic. Not quite sure. Why is it not working? Oh, and also that thing. That basically tells you haven't got enough pressure. So if you can't see, that means you can go. But if you can see, that means you can't go. School bus. I just live in school bus. I guess they brake quite a lot, so they have got a towing thing display there. A bit like coupling function on train. Now you may notice the handbrake is over there. That sounds funny. Now the gear selector. Oh, these buttons are old. I'll leave yourself to browse through them. The gear selector. That's the oldest automatic gear selector. So you basically get 3 buttons. Instead of drive, neutral and reverse, you get low gear lock, goes forward, goes backward. How do you get in neutral? When no button is pressed, it's in neutral. So for example, now I'm in drive. Now I'm in neutral. Now I'm in drive and neutral. No, now I'm in drive and reverse. I don't know what that does. I guess there wasn't such a standard to... I guess there wasn't such a standard to say drive, neutral and reverse, nor was this a standard notation. So he basically just... Wait, has it got only 3 gears? So that uses first gear, second gear and third gear, and that doesn't use third gear. I guess that's what it is, but it is automatic. If you press N on your keyboard, it unpresses all the buttons. But if you press D, it presses down, and press D again, it pops up, in which case you're in neutral. R as well. That's the 2 button, not the 1 button. That's handbrake off. Yeah, it is automatic. I didn't show you the door. Hasn't got stop brake. But it's basically pneumatically controlled. I can guess how dreadful. How did the rear door open? Why is it open? I must have pressed something. What is it doing? Oh, I think it's that button. Close. Yep, it was that button. Okay, we can go now. So that button keeps the door open. But if you don't have that button on, it's in off position now. It won't keep the rear door open, you just unlock it like the other ones I showed you. That's my handbrake, because it hasn't got stop brake. It won't get in neutral, will it? No, it won't. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I know it's been rather cringy. So, thank you very much for watching, and if you think I've done something very wrong, you can press the dislike button or comment on the section below. Comment on the comment section below. Yep. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Good night. And before I actually say good night, I just need to mention something. In the next video, I am going to show you some bus driving stuff. That is probably won't do it in this map, but what I haven't talked about will be talked about in the future. So thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Good night.